Welcome everybody to the Clay Share Studio. It is time for Live at 5. I am Jessica Putnam-Phillips, and tonight we have Paula McCoy from Colors for Earth joining us. Now, if you are new to Clay Share, this is going to be a treat for you. She is amazing. Her brush work will astound you. Even better, she's going to walk you step by step through all of the surface decoration for this Christmas teapot and cup set. Now, Paula also has a downloadable PDF for you that you can get that has the design and everything that she's using. You can find information about that on her blog post. It's colorsforearth.com, so you can go there. I want to share with you some pieces I've made using the Colors for Earth. Now, I love her color concentrates. That's these guys. There's two different size bottles. They are highly concentrated, just like the name implies, and they give you such great color payoff. The other great thing is they're in a gel, not a clay base, which means they're translucent, not opaque. Sometimes when we use underglazes, they're very muddy, not these. These will not do that. So I want to show you some pieces that I have made using them. Here is a rainbow of colors on this one right here. You can see how beautiful they are, and I did one recently just using one color, sapphire blue. So nothing but blue on this piece right here. And another fun one, perfect for the holidays, is this one right here, where I did the colors first on the design, and then the glaze over it is from Georgie's. It's their translucent satin. And it looks so good over it. And then on the edges, I used eggshell wash. So that's a piece I made last year. So, and we did a little demo on this, so you can check that out. But I wanted to share some of my favorite pieces from Paula before we jump on into this demo, just to show you some other things that you can make with it. And she has many classes she's done with us, as well as on her own website. You can check them out. I also want to remind folks that, you know, the Live at 5s we do, they're free to the public. They're for everybody to watch. But do you know, on clayshare.com and the Clayshare app, we have thousands of videos. That's right, thousands. So I've been filming pottery classes for Clayshare, which I started in 2017. So we've got years and years and years of classes for you. So no matter what you do, whether you're a wheel thrower, a hand builder, slip caster, you want to know about glazing, you want to know about firing, you want to know about carving your pots, you want to know about setting up your studio, you want to know about starting a pottery business, where to start there, I've got all that covered. You like to carve and draw on clay? I've got classes for that as well. And right now we are doing a really special promo. You use the code CLAY25 and you can get 25% off your first 3 months of membership with Clayshare. So now's the best time to do it. Promo ends on Friday, so you want to make sure you sign up now while you have a chance. Don't miss out. If you ever want to start making pottery, do it now. All right, we're going to head down to Texas, where I hope it's a lot warmer than it is here in Vermont. Check in with Paula and see this beautiful teapot and cup set that she's going to show you how to do your surface on. Hey, Paula, how you doing?
Hey there. It definitely is warmer here. We are 62 degrees at the moment.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
Sorry.
Nice.
Yesterday, I had frost yesterday morning, so on the car. So it was only, I think, 26 when I woke up yesterday. So
good.
But anyway, yeah, much warmer than you. So hi, everyone. So yeah, I'm excited to share this teapot and cup with you. So I'm going to go ahead and change my camera. You don't need to be looking at me. And we'll go down. So the PDF, like Jess said, is available on the blog or below the video on the Clayshare website. So you can find it. There's 5 pages of information. So definitely check that out. You've got pattern. I even included step photos for you. So there's a lot of information there. My gift to you, my Christmas gift to you. Okay. So hopefully you enjoy that. So here's our teapot. This is a Mako piece of stoneware bisque that I got, and the little cup. Isn't that just cute? Kind of like, reminds me of like a gourd, or the way I did it, kind of a pot belly. And it made me think, because you did your pumpkin mugs.
It's kind of like a pumpkin mug.
Yeah, so you could change the colors up and put fall leaves instead and have a pumpkin one. That'd be really cool, wouldn't it? So
I think it would be. I have one that I've made that hasn't been glazed yet. I'm going to do that.
Oh, there you go.
One I made.
I thought I had a second mug like this, and for the life of me, I can't find it. So I've got the Lisa mug out. So what I did was I just took and I sectioned off the teapot or the cup. So I will divide, and I just put a pencil mark on the top, divide it in half, turn it, divide it in half again, and divide those in halves. And then I brought my lines down with the pencil. Okay. So that's how I determined if you want, excuse me, if you want that sectioned. If you don't want the sections on there, don't do it. Or like Jess says, use, one of the pumpkin and then make it look like a gourd. I think it'd be great with fall leaves. That'd be really, really cute. So, and then I did the teapot the same way. So I divided it in half, and I got to look in this poor handle. Look how crooked that is. I should get my money back. It's like totally it's off. So I went in half, half again, and I drew my lines down. See the lines? So whether you want to do those or not, I put them in there. I was originally going to stamp in one section, and then I thought, no, that's just too much. So I went this other way. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I've got part of this done so that it's easier to move through it. So once you get your stripes on, then you've got a pattern for two different sizes of holly leaves. I use the smaller one on the mug, and I use the smaller one on the lid here. Okay. So let's zoom in a little bit. So you just transfer the pattern onto tissue, cheaper tissue, the better. Lay it on your piece, and then use on stoneware, use an ultrafine Sharpie marker and trace over the lines. It bleeds through and comes out on your bisque. You could do this on greenware if you wanted. You would not add the gloss medium to your product if you did it on greenware, but on bisque, you're fine. You can do it on earthenware. It doesn't matter. It will work the same way. Don't use the Sharpie on earthenware. Use the Statler Tri-Plus fine liner markers. They're a water-based marker, and that's what I recommend. Yes, the Sharpie burns off on earthenware, but it also, if you've got product over the top of it, as it burns off, it can actually leave a white line there. So they changed the formula probably 20 years ago now. Didn't used to do that, but it does now. So I put the pattern right next to the handle. Then what I did was I turned it over so that I have a mirror image of it and put it on the other side. Okay. Same thing here on the little cup. Okay. So you've got it here. I flipped it over and put it on the other side. And then you could put two on the lid if you wanted. I just put one. All right. So the first thing that we're going to do is create the wash in the background. If you get the wash on the holly leaves, it's okay. I would try to stay off the berries if at all possible. Okay. So what I've got out here, color concentrates, like Jess said, they're a translucent underglaze. I've got CC 160 key lime. I've got LE aqua splash. And then I've got 163 shadow green, 164 mountain pine, a little tiny bit of blueberry, 142. And then you will need your gloss medium, the CSP 01. So this basically, when you mix it with the concentrates 50-50, it keeps it open longer and allows you to manipulate and move it around or remove something, especially if it's a dark color, it'll allow, because otherwise these stain the bisque if they're just pure out of the bottle. If you've got the medium with them, they're much easier to work with, especially if you're a beginner and you've never done anything like this. Okay. All right, so we're going to put the 160 like in the center of the belly of the pot, and then we're going to move to the bottom and to the top. So we're going to have that kind of like here to here, and then we're going to come down a little bit and we're going to put the 003, the aqua splash, in that area. And then we're going to have 163 and 164, and it just moves up the same way. 3 and 164. Pencil will burn out. You don't have to worry about it. So keep that in mind. So I've done one side, and I want to show you what it looks like so you can kind of see it's lighter in the middle, and then you have a little bit of a blue cast, and then it goes to that 163 shadow, and then it goes up to the pine. So I wanted this to have a vintage look. If you want the traditional greens, you could do 160, 61, 62. 62 is extremely dark, but I wanted more vintage, and I added the blueberry in there so that it gave that vintage. It's almost like the holly leaves were kind of casting a shadow of blues, and that's just here and there. So that's kind of what I'm doing. All right, so dispense your colors. So I've got 160 here. I've added equal parts of the gloss medium, the CSP01, and then I'm going to create a wash. I like to do washes for a watercolor background on a lot of my pieces. I think it makes it look three-dimensional. I'm also using, this is the medium sumi brush, and then we're going to use the small sumi brush also. I'm going to get my brush wet, and then I'm going to grab some of the 160 mix, a healthy scoop of it, and put it in that water. And I'm going to grab just a little bit more, like 1.5 scoops. Now, when you make a wash, the color is heavier than the water. It falls to the bottom, so you need to constantly stir this as you're using it. Otherwise, you're going to get uneven application, okay? So keep it stirred up every time. So I do what I call my slip, slap, mush, mush, which is constantly moving the brush around so that you don't end up with a defined pattern. It's just a watercolor. You don't want to do this where you got rabbit tracks, I call it. You want it to be uneven and more of a China painted look is what it reminds me of. That's when I designed these brushes 30 some years ago. I wanted China painted look, but I wanted to do it with underglazes. And that's how I came up with this design or brushes. Okay, so put that on right there in the middle. And I've already done half of this teapot over here. Okay, I'm just trying to keep it from running on there. All right, so you've got that color on there. I'm not going to make another wash. I'm just going to add my next color to this current one. So that way it has that same color. So I'm getting the Aqua Splash, just a healthy scoop. Remember, these all have the medium mixed in them, so they're going to be able to, you're going to be able to manipulate and move them around. And the reason I chose, just design-wise, chose the Aqua Splash next before I went into the greens, it's a nice transition from one to the other instead of going from this brighter green to the sagier green. If you throw the aqua in between, it makes a nice transition. So when you do this color, you want to overlap into your first color, the 160, constantly moving around. Rinse your brush if you need to, and you can come back because we have the medium. I'm going to come back and just soften that edge where those colors meet. Or if I have a drip or a run, I can take care of that also. Now I'm going to go above it also. And I'm not going to go onto the spout. If you didn't want to use the red that I used on the spout, you could carry that over to the spout and the handle if you wanted to. I'm going to rinse, blot, and soften where those two meet. Now I'm going to add the 63 now, the 163 shadow green. Remember, it has the medium in it. I'm just adding it to this well. Now it's getting short of water, so I am going to put more water over there so that I stay with a nice wash consistency. And overlap again. Overlap, you can come down. I'm constantly turning. The only time my brush lifts up is when I go get more product. So that's a good way to remember it. And Jess, if you have any questions, you can ask anytime.
Be sure if you have questions, you type it in and I will relay it to Paula. Now, for folks that are doing a cone 5 or 6 with your colors, and they want to use the medium in it, they're still going to put a glaze on top. And the medium just helps extend the workability of your colors for folks that are new to it.
Yeah, it extends the drying time so that you can do it. But no matter what, you do need a food safe, of course, on this one. Clear glaze over it. I recommend, I like the Mako SW004 is what I like to use. So I call this like design techniques or spot glazing. You can use the medium with the colors to do the design work, but you still need 2 coats of a clear glaze over the top. Okay. And so that's a little different than other. So I'm just going other companies out there. I'm just going back and kind of softening. You can see, and here that one's finished on that side. And we're wet over here. So now I'm going to grab some of the 164, which is the darker mountain pine, and add it to that wash. So I'm just continuing to add the next color in there so that it has some of the previous color, which is nice because it helps it blend. And you just want to overlap that into the 63, constantly working it back. I do have, since this is stoneware, I have my wax on the bottom. So it's going to resist. And then I'm going to go to the top. But do you see how quickly you can do this? But the nice thing about having the medium in there, if you don't work as quick as I do, you can still manipulate and move that around, which is nice. Then rinse your brush, blot, and kind of go back and see if you need to change any areas that are heavy, or like here I had a little runner, and I'm just going to soften it. And then I'm going to go down here, and I'm going to kind of blend it into my other side that I had done earlier for time purposes, that magic camera that you can.
So you're going to fire this to cone 5, but because
Right.
you're using stoneware, but this is also for low fire folks. So if
Absolutely.
people are watching, you can do either, but this one is cone 5.
Yeah, I mean, you can see the difference when it's fired. The greens do brown a little bit, but if you're on earthenware, they're going to look almost exactly like what I have on the piece before it's fired. Okay. All right. So just keep working that. All right. And I'm not going to worry about the handle because we're going to do that red. So just double check to make sure you don't have any areas that you are obvious, where there's a start and stop. You can go back and add colors if you need to, but you can see that it's lighter in the belly because that's going to be closer to the light. And then it gets darker as it goes down, gets darker as it goes up. Now, what I did was on that blueberry, I am going to make a new well with water. And I've got the blueberry over here. So I'm just going to take a little bit of it and add it. And this just gives it, like I said, I think more of a vintage. If you don't want the blue in there, it's not hardly noticeable, but I'm going to add some of it, especially around the holly leaves, because I think it gives it a nice look. And soften that. You don't want that to have a start and stop line. Okay. And then you can go add it somewhere else, just here and there, maybe a little bit down here. And then I'm just going to soften with just water so that isn't a straight line. Okay. And I had a runner over here, so I'm just double checking that. So the mug that I put it on is, I think it's called the Lisa mug. It's Mako stoneware also. I thought I'd show it on it since I couldn't find my other mug. So same difference. You're going to do the same thing. But I am going to start over. So this is just a repeat of what we did. So start with water, grab your key lime, healthy scoop with your medium sumi brush, another scoop, and I'm just going to pat it on, mush it, mush. I call it slip, slap, mush, mush.
You need a t-shirt with that.
I do.
So I want to remind folks that Paula's website is colorsforearth.com, and you can get her colors there. And premium members get a really nice discount on Colors for Earth. So if you're a premium member of ClayShare, make sure you're using your discount code so you can save, especially these holiday season. You want to save as much as you can because I know we're doing a lot of shopping.
Absolutely. Okay, so see, I put it down here. Do you see? You can see the lines where that color starts. So just rinse your brush, and with just a damp brush, go back and just mush, do the same action and just mush it until that goes away. Okay. So I'm going to add this at the top also. So I'm in the aqua splash right now. A little bit there, a little bit there. That way we can work these two back and forth when we get to the next steps. So I shouldn't say always, but I always start with the background and work forward. I think Jess does the same thing. It just layers the product up and gives you that depth that you're looking for. And the more colors you put on, even if it's another coat of the same color, it still will deepen that value. So whether it's a new one or the same color. Okay, this is the 163. I'm just going to mush it and overlap it. Come down here and do the same. So every color you add, it deepens the value. And I know I work pretty fast at it, but if you can work yourself up to working fast, you're going to be able to blend better. But that's why that medium's in there. See how I got color on the holly leaves, I can just take a damp brush and I can push it off of that. I don't need it off of there. I need it more off of the holly berries. But if you were doing other things, because you can use the same technique on tons of different things, you just push it off. And that's because that medium is in there. And on stoneware, I think you're able to manipulate it better than you are on earthenware. I think it's just something, and I really love working on the stoneware. I love my earthenware too, but because I used to cast a bunch of it. Okay, see that runner there? See that? So I'm going to just take water and just pat that until it doesn't have a definition of a line there, and it's gone. Kind of cool. And see this on the handle? I'm not worried about it because I'm going to put red, but if I didn't want it there, I could literally almost shimmy it off or erase it off of there. And you can also take your sponge and take it off too, if you were in an area. Now, the darker the color, it gets harder to come off, but it definitely helps. So I'm going to grab a little bit of the 164 and add that at the top and bottom real quick. And that just makes a darker edge to it. And then I'm going to come up here with what's left in my brush and blend it into that other one. And then I'm going to rinse and come back. So on this one, I did not, well, I shouldn't say I didn't do brush strokes. We are going to float color down these seams or the lines that I put on here. So it is a brush stroke, but not a stroke. And I'm going to show you how you can do it with the Sumi brush if you don't have a square shader when we get to that. All right, so I'm going to put a little bit there just to darken that. And then just water to soften it. And I'm holding it this way so it doesn't run too bad. That's the only bad thing about a round surface. It's going to run. I've still got some of the blueberry mixed up over here, so I'm going to put some of it underneath the holly and around it, just so I have a little bit here and there, just for a different look. All right, let's put a little bit more of this darker up here. I think I had the other side working, and it was this side that I needed it. Shame on me. Okay, just water, take it off, fix any problems. Like here's a little bit of a issue. Not a bad issue, it's just tapping it on there. Okay, so you can see how isn't that pretty? So it's just soft in the middle, and then it gets darker as it goes up and as it goes down. Now, you could do lighter at the top and get darker as you go down. You could do the same thing. So play with it. You may like one way versus the other, okay? So that's how that's done. Now, I did put the 164 on the lid, the wash, just like we finished with, on the lid here, okay? So what I want you to do now is we're going to deepen the edge. So I'm going to tip my damp brush that's just water in it, and I'm going to tuck that brush over on that edge and just kind of pull it around so that it shades the bottom of it. Do you see how the bottom is a little bit darker on there? You can kind of see that. You could do it, you know, with a foam brush if you wanted a more defined. I just wanted a real soft look to it. So this gives you another option on how you can do that. Just make sure you keep enough water in your brush. Tip into that mix of color and walk it around. Any questions, Jess?
So folks love your terms and they love the color concentrates and the colors for earth. I want to remind folks too that on clayshare.com, below the video of this, so if you're watching somewhere other than Clayshare, if you go to clayshare.com, you can get the PDF, which has everything. It's step-by-step written out instructions, all the colors that you're using, Paula, everything is listed there. So if you're following along and you're like, oh, it's too many things, I can't write it down, don't panic. You can go print that out and have that and then watch the video later, you know, again, and have all the information you would need.
Come back and you've always got that video for sure. Okay, so now what we need to do is shade these sections. If you're definitely gonna do those, Let me rinse my sponge out. Okay, so we're going to take 164. Always shake your concentrates. They're thixotropic, meaning they congeal in the bottle. So you need to shake them. The more you shake or stir, they're going to liquefy, because you're going to think it's hard in there and you can't get anything out. It's not. It's just you need to shake them up is what's happened. I'm going to add the CSP01 gloss medium. I'm going to stir with the handle of my brush. And the reason I do that is because then I'm not wasting a lot of product. If you do it with the bristles of the brush, you will actually, you got to wash that off, and then you're throwing your product down the drain. So that's definitely a money saver. I'm going to switch and go to the 5200 number 10, which is a square shader. This is a Kolinsky natural hair brush. It's going to hold more product. It's going to carry the product further for you. And what we do is we're going to fully load with water, and we're going to corner load in that dark. And I'm going to try to move my water bowl over here for a couple of steps so that you can see, because there's somebody I'm sure that has never done that before. And we need to make sure they know how to do it. Okay. So I think you can see, let me scooch back a little bit. So I've got like a dirty, less dirty, and then a clean here in my well. So always dampen your brush, get it wet, and then you want to drag it off the side of your water bowl, whatever it is. I like these because I think Jess put them in her Amazon store, because you've got 3 areas. You can rinse first, rinse second, and then you've got a clean to do like this type of thing with. Okay. So once you load, drag off the edge. What that does is remove the excess water, and it gives you that nice chisel edge. If you have a good brush, they will all come together like that. Okay. And Kolinsky is the highest grade. They're on our website, and different sizes. So depending on the size that if your surface is smaller than this that you normally work with, you may want a smaller square shader. Okay. I'm going to corner load, and you wanted to go no more. Can you see that? No more than half, about a third of the way, or at least a half. And then you're going to blend in the middle of your well. And then you're going to flip the brush over, and you're going to blend color next to color. I'm going to load one more time and blend. And what that does is allow the color, you can float the color. Okay. So I'm going to start with, let's start with the straight one here. Start with this one here. We're going to put the color next to the line. And I'm just going to press all the way down with the brush. Now I'm running out, so I need to rinse, clean water, load. Oh, and then the other thing I didn't mention is the writing the brush. If you keep that towards you, you will always corner load in the same corner, and you won't have color all the way across your brush. Now this time I can start at the bottom of this section and come up and overlap. Okay, so it may be easier for you to do like all the rights and then come back and do all the left. Okay, so blend, color next to color, blend. A lot of people just set the brush down, and you end up with color all over, and you're going to have to rinse, and you're going to have to start over. So if I want to do these, this teapot has a, and I didn't mention that in the beginning, it has like a little lip up here where it's, and you see how it stops and then it goes in. So we're going to do another band of a color up there in a minute. Okay, so rinse, reload, and you need to do it for every stroke to really get a nice blend. Press all the way down, color next to your line. So what that does is you get colored where it's first put down on the edge of the brush, and it fades out to water as it goes across. So you're floating the color. It is not a float stroke. It's called floating the color. Writing of the brush towards me, corner, blend, blend. Now on your leaves here, you've got a little section, and we can go right over that leaf. It won't make a difference. And then come down, and then you can go back the other direction. But I'm all the way down. Is that coming through good, Jess, where they can see that the brush is all the way down? Okay.
Yeah, you can see.
So same thing. You're just gonna, now underneath this handle, it's gonna be a pain. I'm not gonna try to do it right now because that's take up too much time. So I'm constantly rinsing, loading, and blending. And then you can come back, and I'm gonna turn it upside down, and you can do the other side. Okay. So you've got a little bit of a bump on this particular teapot. And I did not put I don't think they have but one teapot. I didn't put the number of the teapot on the paperwork, but I think you can find it on their website or your local distributor. But see how that looks now? So now that's what's giving it the round, because you've got that on both sides of that line. So it gives you the illusion, like when Jess did her pumpkin, she indented for the sections. This gives you the illusion that you've done that. And it's just from shading is all it is. Okay. All right. So I'm going to move that out of my way.
And if somebody makes their own teapot, they could do this on, once they've bisque fired it, they could do this on the surface.
Absolutely. I think a fall one would look really cute. And you could do spring and put regular leaves and some little flowers up there where I put the holly. We might have to do that. I'll have to work.
That would be.
Jess will have to make me a teapot.
I can do that.
Okay,
Teapots are like a big thing, but they are doable. So if anybody's out there and they want to make a teapot, I got like 5 classes on them, 5 different ones. Come make one.
And I'm a teapot collector, so that's why this appealed to me. I've got a whole cabinet of them. So constantly blend. So a lot of people, another mistake is they just go all over the place when they're blending. Try to stay in the same place, and then you'll keep your color next to, you'll keep it all in one area on your brush. You're not going to end up having it all over your brush, because it needs to be water out to the other side. And then that's just damp, and you're not doing anything, no damage to your background. It almost looks like a watermelon too. We could do, ooh.
It does kind of look like a watermelon. I was thinking summertime. Yeah.
That's one of the other things I like is watermelon. I might have to do that. I haven't tried making one of your teapots yet, but I've been watching the video over and over trying to get confidence to do it, because I'm a caster by trade. So hand building is, not. But
I have seen things you've made and they're beautiful. So
thank you.
You can do it.
So up here at the top where that indentation, I know it's hard to see on the video, you can create what I call like a swag to make it, again, kind of that Victorian type look. Now, if this gets dirty, all you do is wipe that so that you can start over again, so that you're not putting your color on both sides of your brush. Remember, widening the brush towards you, corner load, blend, 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 flip it over, blend, blend, blend. A lot of times when I first start, I will do it twice. And then what I did was just go underneath this area. So I'm kind of starting and stopping. And if I feel like it needs to be a little bit darker, and I know I still have enough water in my brush, I felt like I got lighter as I got to this one. So you can just go over it. Like I said, every time you go over and layer color, it just makes it darker. Okay.
So we had a question. You're working on bisqueware. Could people do the same thing on greenware, or would you rather encourage them to do it on bisque?
You can. If you did, I wouldn't put the gloss medium into the color, because greenware is open. It's very porous. And so you can move it around. You can always sand off something if you don't like it, wipe it off, scratch it off, that type of thing. So yeah, absolutely. I love working. See, stoneware to me is like working on earthenware, greenware. It just, it absorbs the product really nice. And I loved, right now it's hard to find any greenware because people don't cast as much as they used to. Okay, so you can see that at the top there. All right, so the next thing we need to do is our holly leaves. We're going to use the colors. I'm going to move this out of the way so I can have more room that we've already mixed up. We've got 3 greens. We've got key lime, 163 shadow, and mountain pine, and they are equal parts with the gloss medium. So I'm going to switch to my small sumi brush, and I think I need a little more key lime. So let's get some of that out before we start. And I'm going to add that gloss medium to it. So anything that I show you, even if you don't want to do Christmas, just change up what the subject is and do the same thing on, like I said, spring, fall, whatever you want to do, right? So I'm going to take the small sumi and grab that key lime mix. Let me see if I can set this one where you can see it maybe. Yeah, a little bit. Or not. There we go. Okay.
There we go.
There's more than one way to get it. Okay, so I'm going to start at the tip where it would be lighter, and I'm going to pat that on. So pat, 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 pat. It's almost like applying 2 coats. And I'm going to come up halfway to 3/4 of the way on the leaf. I'm going to turn the piece. This is key. Turn that piece. Tip into the shadow green, and I'm going to start at the top where it would be a little darker and come down and overlap that onto. I'm turning my brush over so I can get the product off the other side. And you can come down a little bit on one side, the lower side where you might have shadow, because it's laying down. You want the top to stay lighter. And then I'm running out of product on my brush. So I'm going to go back and put a little bit of the 160 in, a little bit of the 63, and then I'm going to go to the 164. And I'm going to add it on top of the 63, but I'm not going to come out as far. And here again, you can come down one side. Do you see how my brush is constantly aiming where I want that color? That is a key when you're doing this blending. This is like a 3-color blend. You always want your brush aiming where you want it. You don't want to stay here and try to go down because you're going to end up with a straight line of product. You want it to bleed back into the other colors that are on the brush. Okay, so that's your key there. Now, you've got the dark in your brush. I'm going to just wipe on my sponge, go right back to the 160 and start the next one. And the reason I do that is because I want those in there. I want it to blend, and I don't want to throw my product down the drain. And if you rinse your brush, where's it going to go? It's gone. So I'm trying to teach you how to save money. Okay, so halfway to 3/4, pat on. It ends up being a couple of coats. Turn the piece around, pick up the 163, and let me zoom in so you can really see. And pat, 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 sit it down, mush, 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 walk it to the right and walk it to the left. That's my new rap song. What do you think of that?
I think you got a hit.
I used to tell them that when I did retreats. And if you say that to yourself, believe it or not, you will do it. Sit it down, mush, mush, mush. Walk it to the right and walk it to the left. Now I'm going to go grab the 64, the darker green, add it at the top, and I'm turning my brush, turning my piece. So many people want to just sit with their brush, in one area and never move their piece or never move, and they go backwards at it, and you just don't get a nice blend as you do when you do it this way. Wipe out the dark, and then you would go back. How are we doing on time? We're good. Okay. I feel like I'm rushing, but I want to make sure that we get it all in.
You're good. We have 20 minutes.
Oh, no problem. All right, halfway back. Turn around. Pick up 163. Any other questions?
So the question came up, are you using the gloss medium in all the colors, the blueberry and everything?
I am. Yep. Yep. Anytime I do a watercolor background, 99% of the time I'm going to add it in. Okay, now I just got on a berry, but that's okay. I'm going to show you how to get it off. Pick up the 164, mountain pine, turn my piece. Now be careful when you're turning your piece, you're not scooting on something that would rub the color off because it's just sitting on the surface. You want to make sure you take note of that. All right, I'm going to rinse my brush, blot out the moisture, and then I can come back here and I can push off that color where I don't want it because it's got the medium in it. Okay. And here I got a little bit out. I can do the same thing and I can kind of swish back. I'm not worried about it because I can outline and do everything else. Okay. So I didn't, on the teapot, it has these dots up here, which is with the 164. So you would need to make sure that, I think you can see it there, that if you need the line, you can draw that line so that you have a visual. Sometimes that helps you stay straight. you know, you think you don't need it, and then when you don't have it, let me tell you, it'll bite you. Okay, so you can put those all back in there. All right. So because these are translucent underglazes, so on this side, see how I've got all that blue there? So I can just rinse my brush. Maybe I don't want that to show through on the 160 key lime. And I'm just gonna, and this was what, 10 minutes ago. And I can push that back with just water, tell it to get back inside the fence. The fence is the outline and it's off. It's there. You don't have to worry about it. You can also use a square shader to do that. If you'd prefer, you can take it and just shimmy it back and forth and it's all fixed. Okay. Any questions on the floating? Does anybody, you could do it with the Sumi brush if you wanted. So I'll do it on the cup. I don't want one thing to have one and one to have another. So you would water load like your medium Sumi brush and you would tip into that same color, the 164. I would start in the center and you could come down with that color. This is a very, very soft brush. And then you could come up with that color. So it can be done with it. I prefer, because I love to do brush strokes, I prefer the flat to do it, but you can see it's not much difference as far as the look. So if you only have the Sumis, absolutely you can do it. You don't have to buy another brush. But if you're looking to add to your collection, that would be a good reason to do it.
And you have all the brushes on your website. So
absolutely.
Folks can do
yeah.
one-stop shopping. I had a question about the gloss medium. Could you use any water-based gloss medium?
Well, the gloss medium is my NT clear, my non-toxic clear glaze.
So it's actually a clear glaze.
It's a clear glaze.
It's not like acrylic painting gloss medium or anything. It's a ceramic medium. It's made for, it actually has glaze in it.
You might be able to take, let's say the SW004 zinc free, and you could use a dropper and add some to it and try it and see if it works. I'm just using my product for this because I know it works and I know it's going to glide on there. And because of the gel base and everything, it just really makes a huge difference in trying to take something off also. Okay.
Great.
All right. So the holly, you can add some of the blue, which I didn't do. So you could come back over here and you could take and you could add a little bit of that blueberry off to one side if you wanted a highlight and wanted more emphasis on that. So I just water loaded and then tipped into it. Now, if you're a light applicator, you may want to do 2 coats the same way. The key to anytime you're doing a 2 and 3 color blend or 4 or 5 color blend is to do all the colors on one area before you jump to the next one. Okay, you can't just do all your light colors on the tips and then all your medium because it dries too quickly. They dry very quick. So you're better wet on wet, doing all of it on one specific area before you jump to the next area. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. So if I wanted a little bit of that blueberry on there, I could use it as my highlight, in other words. And I'm just tipping into the blueberry and kind of letting it float on that area. Okay, so now we need to do the berries real quick, and that is 112 candy apple red. Once again, shake. We're going to use a high-tech tool. It's called a Q-tip. You could use you could use a handle of a brush, but I'm telling you, I find that most people get too heavy and then they can end up with cracking. It is an underglaze. It's not a glaze. It's not like it's going to level itself out, right? So be careful if you use the squeeze bottle to do it. And I'm going to show you a new technique on how to do these stripes on here in just a second. You can use a Q-tip. Like I said, I found that to work the best. So just take the Q-tip. I think you can see that. And you can give it a little spin and it will actually, because you're spinning it, you'll have some highs and lows. Now this is a bigger one, so you can just tap it in, get that on there. And then you got a little one. I waited to do the ones on top of the holly until after I had detailed, and then I came back and did those. These that are on here, like the little simulated holly berries and leaves, what you're going to do is you can take the handle of the brush. So we'll do it two ways so that you can see. So what I did was I kind of went back and forth, like here will be an area, here will be one, here, and here. And then I wouldn't want to start next to that. I would start the opposite or the same way on the other. You don't want them sitting next to each other on, right at the seam. Find a tip that you like the size of. You can also, a brand new pencil eraser is a great dotter. Okay, that's an awesome look. I mean, you can just dot it and it works perfectly. So think about that too as a possibility. Okay, so let's grab, I want these to be a little bit smaller. You can kind of see that they're smaller on that guy there. Turn him upside down so we can see him. So just if you continually dot, you get graduated dots, meaning they get smaller because you have less product on your handle of your brush. Okay, so that's how I did those. Pretty simple. If you load for every dot, you would have the same size berry. Okay. So if you've never done that before, so I just kind of alternated, zigzagged it back and forth. Then what I did was I came in, where's my liner brush? The 3600 #2 liner, which is my favorite liner. Always dampen your brush, just like your hair. These are natural hair brushes. So you dampen your hair before you put shampoo on it. We're going to dampen it before we put product on it. Think of it that way. Now, this 164 is what we're going to use for the little leaves that I've got on here. This is a little thick, so I'm going to grab some water with my brush and just thin one corner over here. And then I'm going to take a lot of that off and then grab the thinned product. And what I want to do is just little pressure strokes, which is like, let me pull it this way. Sit and lift, sit and lift. Isn't that cute? Really
So cute.
And then I would turn it around. Once again, gotta constantly turn our work. And then I would put a group of 3 on there. So maybe this one, I want to get a nice point. So 1, 2, maybe a third. And I have brushstroke videos that you can go watch to learn different strokes also, if it's something you want to learn. Isn't that cute? So
I
it
love
just
it.
makes a little leaf. Okay. I'm not going to do all of them because we need to move on. But I wanted to make sure you saw that. Okay. So then up there at the top where I had those dots, same kind of thing. Those are graduated dots. So you could take that thin down product and start here and just continually go up until you have smaller. So remember, where you put it down first, it's going to be larger. I didn't have that one loaded well enough. And you just keep going up and you have less on it. So that's another way. So if you can't do this, maybe you want to do dots down this section. I would start in the middle and get as many as you can the same way, and then start another one and go up and down to create a pattern on it. Okay. So did you see how these, where I've shaded, I've got this stronger wiggly line? So, and same with the teacup here. I just think this, and your insides, especially of your cups, you could do the same thing. Or what I did was put the 160, the lighter green, and then just moved up with the colors. I didn't go up and down. I just went up with, so 160, the aqua splash, shadow, mountain pine, and then a touch of blue here and there on those. Okay.
We had a question about the Q-tip. Sure. Did you wet the Q-tip before you used it? No,
I did not. No, you wouldn't want to do that because then you're squishing water out on your piece, and that would not be good. So now I'm going to take, we have what's called a cap kit accessory. It comes with the syringe, all the tips, a tip cleaner, and it comes with 2 of the caps. And then we also sell Miss Stacy Quest is the one that we can thank for all this because she loves to do a lot of work with just the cap. So we have 12 and we have 6-pack caps. Also, these will fit any of my 1 and 2 ounce bottles. I can't tell you if they're going to fit other manufacturers, okay? But they fit any of my 1 or 2 ounce. Okay, so even though it's a smaller bottle, it still fits. It's got the same thread on it. So I shook this really well. I'm going to take off the original lid, and I'm going to take one of those caps that are in the set, and I just touched my red. Hopefully I didn't smear it. And this has a lure lock on the top. It has a little clear, comes with a little clear cap that you can put back on it. I usually clean mine. I don't leave them on my bottles. And these just a half a turn to the right, righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. Okay, put that on whatever bottle. And then I want you to test it before you go straight to your piece. So over on your palette, when you squeeze that, you can kind of see. You could write your name like this, anything. Keep a damp towel here that you can wipe off also. And what I did was just do a squiggly line, because if you do a squiggly line, you don't have to stay straight. Yay, right?
I love that.
Yeah, that's something I used to tell my seniors all the time. So you can start down here at the bottom gently, and you want to touch the surface and get it coming out. Hello, come on. I'm not squeezing. And I can just wave it along. If I missed a spot, I can come back. How fun is that?
It's really nice.
So it's just another decorating tool that you can use. And then I did it up at the top also. And I just kind of waved it along there and brought it over. Fun? Any questions on doing that? Just always test it on your palette or something so that you know what your strength is as far as how much pressure to put, and then keep it inside of a damp towel if you're going to walk away and come back and do it. Now, this one, we needed to have the little dots up there. So because some of these dots started here, we have a holly leaf. So what I do is I load that handle, I dot it off twice, and then I can go up there to get similar sizes. And I overloaded my brush. But you want to take some off because you don't want it to be the same. You want it to look like the rest of it, right? Okay. Outlining, I think, is where we're at. All right, how we doing? We got good time?
We got about 6 minutes.
6 minutes? Oh, no
We
problem.
can go a little over if we have
I'm
to.
always speed demon, right?
You always have so much to share. I mean, you do 2 hours worth of stuff in an hour. So
yeah. And I do have on the blog on my website, if you want the full video for both the cup and the teapot, it will be available after this broadcast. So you can go watch it if you want to see every single step. So that's CC 101 Cobalt Black. And I usually put it in the middle. I grab some water with my brush to slightly thin, only thin one side of it. You don't need that all. It's all going to evaporate before you get to use it. So you're going to take the 3600 number 2 liner. I like to start from where it grows from and come out from there. So I'm going to come in here and I can just make my little, you see how I created those sections? So you don't have to do it as one continuous stroke. And then you want to come down the middle. And then you want to create your side veins. Start at the vein and come out. I'm a little shaky this afternoon. Yeah, usually I like to do my outlining in the morning versus the evening. And you may be the same way. Just keep that brush loaded. Start from where it grows from and pull out. That way, when you set your brush down, it's thicker at the vein. That's fine because that's where it's coming from. That's where it's growing from. So that's a good way to think about it. So once you're done with your piece, you're going to apply 2 coats of the appropriate clear glaze. I guess you could put a Celadon over it. It just depends on what you're looking for. And I like to go ahead.
I was just going to say, we had a question about the caps. Can you leave them on and store the bottles with the caps on? Those little
You
writing,
could, I would take off the tip and put that clear cap back on there.
because that
So
tends to clog if you let it
yeah,
dry.
yeah. So I'll show you how to clean that in just a second after I finish it. So on your berries, a lot of times I will just do one side of the berry. And then you can add a little black mark. You could add holly, pine needles coming out. I mean, there's so many other things you can do to it. Let's see, I showed you how to do those. So other than painting solid application, I did the red on the handle. Here I used the 164. I had waxed this bottom and I didn't take care when I did it. So my bottom is uneven, but I did have the 164 down there also. Don't forget to put your clear on the inside, especially if you're going to use it. If it's decorative, you know, up to you. But you never know who's going to handle it later in life. So have it ready for them for sure. And you just use a semi brush is what I do. So I just take that red and let's do the spout and just come in and start applying. Now apply 2 coats, let it dry, and then come back and add 2 more coats if you're doing the red is what I would recommend. Remember, this is a translucent, so you need to let it dry. And I think that goes for anybody's underglazes. 2 coats, let it dry, come back and add your 3rd or 4th coat if you need it. Only on the reds do I recommend 4 coats. Everything else you can get away with 3. Okay, so I need to show you how to clean this tip. So all I'm going to do is grab the water bowl again. I'm going to take that tip off. I've got the syringe that comes in the pack. Now, if you buy just the caps, the syringe doesn't come in there. Okay, you will have to have something. So if you already have one of our piping bottles, you have a syringe. So, but can you see that little clear cap that's on there? So that's what you could put back on there. I think that's probably how Stacy does hers too. And pull water up in it and then just plunge it clean multiple times. Make sure you've got all that product out of there. They are stainless steel tips, so you could drop it in your water and come back later and do it if you wanted. You know, you didn't have time, you had to switch, you had a clogged tip, you couldn't get unclogged, whatever. You can even boil them in, you know, hot water, which is kind of cool. Yeah, but they're stainless steel, so don't worry about it as far as getting it clean right away. And then you would just come in and add that clear cap on there if you were going to keep it on there. Does that make sense? Hopefully. Okay.
Yeah, I think that's a really great way to apply a line too. I'm pretty excited about those caps.
Yeah. So you would just rinse this. I usually just throw it in my water bowl, put my original cap back on it. But you may have a set of certain colors that you leave the tip on, you know. Okay, so can you see? So 4 coats total on the spout and the handle if you want it red. 2 to 3 on the mountain pine area. Remember, that's your darkest green. And your 2 coats of clear. Now, a lot of times what I will do, guys, before I glaze, even if I was going to glaze this in a couple hours and I stopped and I let it, I will mist it with water. Okay, let me back off so you can see this. And this also shows you what the colors are too. Do you see how that just completely changed it? So I will mist it, let the wet look go away, and then I will come in with my wet fan brush with my clear glaze. I was showing this probably 25 years ago by Bruce Locke. People think the longer that this stays dry, you won't smear your color. No, what smears your color is you overworking the product that's underneath. So if you missed it, it rebonds. So it's damp. And now you've got a damp glaze going on top. And as long as you go 1, 2, maybe 3 across, reload 1, 2, maybe 3 across. And I have videos out there on how I glaze and I don't smear. So hopefully that'll help you also if you're new to brush glazing, or you can dip, of course. Right, Jess?
Sure. Yeah. I also want to say that with your color concentrates, the 4 coats on the handle and the spout, when I have used them on other pieces of mine and I put clear over, it does not bubble. If you use normal traditional underglazes from other companies, I have found I've gotten bubbling or blistering on the handle with 4 coats of underglaze.
Just
So
remember, yeah, on those darker colors, like I know I've had some people with 143 sapphire blue, and even maybe with the black, but you want to always have a little bit of water in your brush when you're applying, and even on your first coat onto the bisque or the greenware, if you thin that product down, it allows it to absorb into the wear, and it's going to accept the next coat easier, and you won't get that blistering also.
fabulous. Thank you. It's 6 o'clock. Can you believe it went that quick? An hour. Whew, you did it all. So awesome. So folks can find you colorsforearth.com.
Correct.
The brushes, the syringes, the caps, the colors. What else do you have over there?
All kinds of stuff. We've got kits, we've got individual bottles. The kits start out with 1 ounce bottles, and then you'll find the colors that you use the most, which is usually like greens and blues, skies and grass and that kind of thing. We've got our new decals that are made from my designs that you can put. And I just put out, 2 weeks ago, maybe a full length video using the butterfly one. I show you how to decorate a stoneware dish. If you're going to incorporate that, and then how to put it on, fire it, and you can fire my decals anywhere from an 012 to a cone 6.
Awesome.
Excuse me, 06. 06.
06. 06. Fire.
Yeah.
Over glazed decals is what they are. So you want to go over the glaze so it'll be lower temperature.
Correct.
So
correct.
awesome.
But I showed you how to, if you're unsure, how do I make this work with a piece? I thought, okay, I'm just going to show it to them, all the way. So it's there. Thank you. I hope you guys enjoyed this. And if you have any questions, reach out to me. Email me, text me, message me, whatever.
It's colorsforearth@gmail.com. So
yes,
thank you. Thank you so much, Paula, for another amazing tutorial.
Yeah,
thanks so much.
Thanks.
Happy holidays.
All right, Merry Christmas, everyone.
Thank you. All right, as always.
I told you we had a treat for you. So much information packed in that tutorial. Go back and watch this over and over. The PDF for this with the written out instructions and all the tools and materials are below the video, so you can go download that and have it. I would recommend you print it out and you have it with you while you're working, so you can watch the video, have the printout, have it all there. And yes, you can get your stoneware from Mako. They do sell bisqueware, or if you make your own pottery, like some of us do, you could make your own teapot, whether you're a hand builder or a wheel thrower. I got both classes for you, so check those out and make yourself a teapot that you can then decorate. I did want to show this for folks that are new to the Colors for Earth. This is the color concentrates, and you can see there's quite a few colors, and you can mix and blend them. So really the colors you get are limitless. And if you missed some of Paula's other tutorials, well, you can go back and watch them here on ClayShare. Here's the Aloha Rooster demo she did, and you can also find her tutorials on Colors for Earth. Now, if you want more of Paula, she's going to be back with us for ClayShare Con coming in February. That is February 18th through the 21st. That's 4 days. And she's going to be doing one demo open to the public. And a little birdie has told me that she is going to be joining us for our special private member only evening and have something just for members of ClayShare. So, ClayShare Con is free and open to the public, except for this teeny tiny little bit that we do one night just for our premium members. But the things you get out of that night are amazing, and it's worth signing up for ClayShare. Now, we're going to take a little break, and I'm going to be back. We're going to be glazing. Look. We made jingle bells a few weeks ago. I have got a bowl full of them, not all glazed. Only a few of them are glazed. So we are going to glaze these, and if I get a bunch of these done, I might do a bonus holiday charcuterie board glazing for you. So I've got a little something that I did and I thought I'd share. So, reminder, if you're not a member of ClayShare yet, go sign up. Now's your best chance for the best deal. Use the code CLAY25, C-L-A-Y 25 to save 25% off your first 3 months. It's a gift for yourself, or you can gift it to someone else. You will not regret it. We have so much on there, including all of these specials and deals I've been talking about. And Paula has specials for members, so you can go get that code and save some extra money while you're shopping. So thank you, everybody. A huge thank you to Paula. Merry Christmas to her. And I will see everybody for Live at 5, not next week, but the week after. Next week I'll be away. So I'll see you all just before Christmas. All right, everyone. Thanks for being here. I'll see y'all later.